Hello and welcome to our answer video for today. This morning I set you a puzzle challenge and I also gave you a riddle. We will come to the answer to the riddle later, but let's first of all look at our puzzle from this morning, which was to do with our arrow graphs. And our arrow graphs were diagrams that represented what happens to the number in the ones or the units column when you multiply by a specific number. We looked at the 3 times table. So we looked at multiplying by 3 this morning, and I set you the challenge to do the same thing with the 7 times table. So, got multiplied by 7 on the board. I also gave you the indication that the sensible thing to do is to start with the number 1. So that's exactly what we're going to do. Now what happens when you multiply the number 1 by 7, or any number ending in the number 1 by 7, or 1 times 7 is 7. So therefore, our first number that we make is 7. So now let's consider a number ending in 7, or just the number 7 itself. 7 times 7, square number. Who's got the 7 times 7 in their head? 7 times 7 is 49. So 49 ends in a 9. So our next number is going to be 9. Okay, here we go. Are you ready for this? Good. Right, multiply 9 by 7. Any ideas? 9 times 7. That's right, 63. Okay, so 63, so any number ending with 9, multiply it by 7, will now end with a 3. So our next number is 3. Okay, I'm taking a chance. There's only looking like there might only be one connection. Let's test it out. Let's consider a number ending in 3. Well, let's consider the number 3 itself. 3 multiplied by 7. 3 times 7. 3 lots of 7 is 21. What does 21 end in? It ends in a 1. So we're absolutely right. But we can now close that loop. So we've now used, or we've got 1, 3, 7 and 9 on the board. So I said to you, when you've done the first loop, try, if you haven't already used it, try to start with number 2. So to try and keep it in order, we will start with the number 2. So any number ending in 2, multiply it by 7. Well, let's start with 2. 2 multiplied by 7, 2 lots of 7 is 14. So our first number after 2 will be a 4. So now we consider any number that ends in 4, multiplying it by 7. So 4 times 7, 4 multiplied by 7, 4 lots of 7 is 28. So we're going to end with an 8. Okay, so now let's consider a number ending in 8. Let's take 8 and let's multiply it by 7. 8 multiplied by 7. 8 times 7 is 56. 56, what does it end with? It ends with a 6. So now we've got a number 6. Now let's try this out. Let's see if we're ready to close our loop. Let's consider the number 6. Multiply it by 7. 6 times 7. 6 lots of 7 are 42. What does 42 end with? It ends with a 2. So yes, we've managed to close our loop. So we've now used, let's have a quick look, let's have a recap. We've used 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now this looks quite familiar because the 2 numbers that we didn't use this morning with 3 times table were 5 and 0. I can't see 5 or 0 on that board yet. So those are the 2 numbers we've got to consider. So let's put the number 5 and let's wonder what's going on here. 5 multiplied by 7. Here we go. 5 times by 7 is 35. What does 35 end with? It ends with a 5. So once again, the 5 is going to lead itself back to 5. So any number ending in 5 multiplied by 7 will still end in 5. Last digit for us to try is 0. Okay? Any number ending in 0. Let's not panic and use 0. Let's use 10. We used 10 this morning. Multiply the number 10 by 7, we get 70. What does 70 end in? That's right, it ends in 0. So, once more, the number 0 creates its own separate arrow graph, as does 5. Okay, so that is the solution to it. Let's just have a quick look again. Do we think, now that we've got the answer, do we think this is always going to happen? Do we think that there is always going to be a 0 on its own? And it is. The reason it is was mentioned this morning, and that is that when you multiply 0 by any number, the answer is always 0. So it doesn't matter what we're multiplying by, if the number ends in 0, it will still end in 0. Okay, so are we ready? Riddle time. So I gave you a riddle this morning, and I asked you to consider a horse, and the horse was tied to a 5-metre rope, but its food was 15 metres away. How did the horse reach its food? It's really simple. The horse was tied to a 5-metre rope, however, the other end of the rope was not tied to anything, so the horse could just walk nicely 15 metres to its food. Job done. So whoever tied the horse to the rope forgot to tie the other end of the rope to something, so therefore the horse was able to get the food. There you go. 2 answers for you for today. As always, we will look forward to seeing you tomorrow morning, and thank you for watching.